Let's bring in Reggie Miller, NBA and TNT, who will be calling the Bulls game tonight for TNT. He joins me now on the show. Reggie, the worst basketball you've seen from on a television show?
Well, look, first of all, can we give Michael J. Fox a little bit of a free pass because he had to play the game in the wolf costume, okay? So you got to give him a little bit of a free pass. You mentioned Blue Chips. They brought in the professionals. I think if you want great sports movies, Eddie, The Professionals, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, you had to bring in Dr. J, correct? He got game, obviously Ray Allen. But here's one when it was an actor, and it was a great sports basketball movie, and it's one of my favorite of all times. I've said it on this air before. Robbie Benson, one-on-one. That was good basketball.
I got to tell you, though, I need a clarification here because I don't believe that it was Michael J. Fox in the wolf costume. I think that was a double in the wolf costume.
It could have been, but you got to get look, he had done a couple scenes in that wolf costume. Am I correct?
Yeah, he probably, he had to make out with, what was her name, Boof? Had to do a little sucking face there.
Yes.
Weren't you on Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
I was. And that was great basketball. That was great basketball, Christopher.
He's Reggie Miller, NBA and TNT here on the Dan Patrick Show. Have you been following this deflated football story?
I have.
Your thoughts?
Well, obviously I had to follow it because they crushed my Colts.
Yeah.
So, look, this is my take on it. Obviously, I think a fine is going to come from this, but if my Colts would have put up more of a fight, it's hard for me to defend 45-7. Now, if they would have played a game how the Baltimore Ravens played the week before when it was back and forth and they were up and then a tremendous comeback by the Patriots to win, then I'd probably be up in arms. But it's hard for me to defend a 45-7 butt whooping. But, look, clearly listening to all the guys and former players saying it's an advantage for the quarterback and more so the ball carriers, yeah, I mean, I think a fine will come from this, and you move on. But I think that's all you can do at this point.
Did you ever tweak the basketballs? Did you ever know of a team that would tweak basketballs to gain an advantage?
Well, like myself and a lot of people around the country, I did not know that each team has their own balls in football. I didn't know the Patriots have 12 balls and the Colts have. I didn't know that. I thought everyone played the same. As in basketball, it's one ball. And the captains before each game, and you see it before every game, when the referee comes and he gives each captain, or in my case, it was the point guards, because the point guards are going to have the ball most of the time, you let them, play with the ball, dribble, and then they say, yeah, it's okay. And both captains or both point guards from both teams agree on it, and then that's the ball you play with.
But
I would be surprised. There's no way you could doctor a basketball in the NBA game.
What's the biggest piece of gamesmanship you saw a home team do to try to gain an advantage over a visiting team?
Well, I will say this, and especially in today's age of cameras and so forth, if a home team really wants, because most shoot-arounds, and teams have shoot-arounds in the opposing arenas like at 10 or 11 o'clock when they go over the plays they're going to run, how they're going to defend a certain opponent on that night, most home arenas have unbelievable and high-tech cameras. If you really wanted to see what was going on another team's on your floor and the opposing team is going through a shoot-around, you could easily go into the security office and watch shoot-around. Now, would you gain an advantage because you still have to play the guys? But if you really wanted to gain that advantage, you could do that. I'm not saying we ever did that, but I know that every arena has high-tech cameras.
You're calling Spurs Bulls tonight, 8 Eastern on TNT. More problems right now, Chicago or Cleveland?
Chicago, because Chicago is not playing the type of defense under Coach Tom Thibodeau that we're accustomed to seeing. They've had injuries throughout the season. And their defensive player of the year, Joakim Noah, has not looked the same. Don't know if he will play tonight because of the ankle injury, but defensively, they have not looked like the team that we've seen the last 3 to 4 years under Coach Tom Thibodeau.
Why is that? I mean, the core of the team, it's largely the same we've seen the last 3 or 4 years.
They've gotten better offensively, and that's because they've brought in Pau Gasol. They drafted the rookie Mirotic.
Yeah.
But defensively, and you would think you have 2 7-footers down low, and I think early on in the season they were pretty good when both Noah and Pau Gasol were down there blocking shots and patrolling the lane. You've got Jimmy Butler, who's one of the best two-way players, and defensively is just a ball hog. It's just a little bit surprising that the defensive numbers have dropped off dramatically from last year to this year, but there's still a lot of time left. I still have them being the best team in the Eastern Conference when it's all said and done and they're healthy, but it'll be interesting to see how they can kind of get out of this little funk.
We've got Al Horford coming on later in the show. If Atlanta was in the Western Conference, how good would they be?
About the same.
Really?
Look, I'm sold. I'm sold on Atlanta, and I'm going to give Coach Mike Budenholzer all the credit because if you look at their style of play and the way the Hawks move the basketball, it's really hard to game plan for a team because, number one, most teams have superstars on them, and you know where the ball is going to end up. The Hawks don't have a true superstar, and they're cut from the same mold. Obviously, it's under the Greg Popovich tree. Mike Budenholzer, an assistant under Popovich for so many years, where it's team basketball, and we're going to move it. We're going to play inside out. We're going to run in transition. We're going to knock down threes, and we're going to be solid at the defensive end. And you think about it. I know what they're going to get from their starters, but you go to the bench, Mike Scott can knock down threes, plays hard at the defensive end. Piro Antic, the same thing. Thabo Sefolosha, that's what he was known for at OKC the last few years, was at the defensive end. So this team is so good defensively, but more importantly, the way they move the ball amongst one another, it's a fantastic watch.
Before I let you go, Reggie, there's one question I've always wanted to ask you. And you played with Dale Davis, right?
Oh, that was my bodyguard.
When I was a ball boy, and we discussed my ball boy days because of the Deflategate situation. When I was a ball boy, Dale Davis offered 7 ball boys $1,000 each if we all could take him. Do you think we could have taken him?
Absolutely not. And he probably would have tied one hand behind his back and said, bring it. And wait, hold on. And you didn't take him up on that?
Not a chance.
Why not?
If I could have been the 7th guy in, I would have done it. But I didn't want to be the first guy in.
Christopher, this is going to kill your street cred, my friend.
I don't think I had much street cred to begin with.
I think
Reggie.
you did. Look, you were one of the toughest guys at SI. Come on now.
We have a clip that Paulie wants to play for you before we let you go.
Well, Reg, we can't show it to you, obviously, on the radio, but we found the clip of you in your starring role in Hanging with Mr. Cooper. And it's a really great role. You really stretch yourself. You didn't pass it all to Mr. Cooper, and you hit the game-winning shot from half court.
Paulie, is that a mini shot that you just threw at me?
Dan texted me.
I did not pass at all.
Dan texted me and said you got to play the clip for him because he knew about the clip.
Look, that was I should have won a Globe for a starring role on a sitcom.
They've got a boxing 4 on you or something like that, and you're waving them off.
And I'm jacking, right?
Yeah, you're jacking from half court.
Look, they pay me to put the ball in the basket. If you wanted me to be Magic Johnson, that is not going to happen. Okay? The job description for that show, put the ball in the basket. And that's exactly what I did. Thank you very much, Hanging Mr. Cooper.
How many takes?
To put the ball in the basket?
Yeah.
What do you think, Christopher? 1.
Ooh, just a one-take shot?
One-take shot, baby.
Appreciate the time, Reggie. Enjoy the game tonight.
Christopher DeJuan Mannix, you're the man.
That's Reggie Miller, NBA on TNT, and Hanging with Mr. Cooper back in the 1990s.